In the very beginning, there was no sound, no color, and no time. There was only a silent, dark emptiness. But God was there, and He had a plan. With a voice that shook the stillness, He said, "Let there be light." Suddenly, a brilliant flash of gold and white crashed through the shadows. It wasn't just a small candle. It was a flood of brightness that filled every corner of the universe. God saw the light was good, and He separated it from the darkness. He named the bright times day, and the quiet, dark times night. This was the very first sunset and the very first sunrise. On the second day, God looked at the wild waters covering the world. He spoke again, and the waters moved. He created a giant open space that acted like a ceiling over the earth. This beautiful blue expanse was the sky. It was filled with the very first breath of fresh air, a protective shield that made the world ready for life to grow. On the third day, the world was still just a big ball of water. God said, "Let the dry land appear." With a mighty roar, the earth began to move. Giant, snow-capped mountains pushed their way up toward the clouds, and deep rocky valleys carved paths for the water to flow into. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters seas. But the land was still grey and quiet. So, God gave a new command. Let the earth grow green things. In an heartbeat, tiny emerald sprouts poked through the soil. Soft moss covered the rocks. Colorful flowers bloomed in the meadows. A massive oak and fruit trees stretched their branches toward the sun. For the first time, the wind had leaves to rustle through. On the fourth day, God decided the sky needed lights to help us tell time. He didn't just make one light, He made a whole gallery of them. He created the sun, a giant ball of golden fire to warm the earth and rule the day. He made the moon, a soft silver lantern, to glow gently while the world slept. Then, as if throwing a handful of diamonds, He scattered billions of stars across the velvet night. These lights became a map for travelers and a way to mark the seasons and years. On the fifth day, the silence of the oceans and the sky ended. God said, "Let the waters be full of life, and let birds fly above the earth." Deep in the blue waves, massive whales began to splash, and tiny, colorful fish started darting through coral reefs. High above, the air was filled with the beating of wings. Eagles began to soar over the mountains, while tiny songbirds perched on branches to sing the very first melodies the world had ever heard. The world was finally getting noisy and joyful. On the sixth day, the land became a busy place. God spoke, and all kinds of animals appeared. He made mighty animals, lions that roared, elephants with long trunks, and tall giraffes. He made gentle animals, fluffy sheep, hopping rabbits, and loyal dogs. He even made the tiny things, busy ants, colorful butterflies, and wiggly worms. But God saved the most special part for last. He didn't just speak this time. He used His hands. He shaped a man from the dust of the ground and breathed His own breath into him. This was the first human. Humans were special because they were made to be like God, able to love, to create, and to take care of the beautiful world He had just finished. By the seventh day, the universe was buzzing with life. The trees were waving, the animals were playing, and the stars were shining. God looked at everything He had made, and it was perfect. God wasn't tired like we get after a long day of school, but He chose to stop and rest. He blessed the seventh day and made it a special day for us to stop, breathe, and remember how wonderful His creation is. The week was over, but the great adventure of life was just starting.